10 minutes ago, we're upstairs. And I'm like, you ready to do this? And you say no. And I go, why not? And you say, I haven't thought of a way to embarrass you yet.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of parenting are we doing where I thought we're leading by example? Do you want the children embarrassing other people?
I think it makes you have a little bit of thicker skin.
Mary Ashley? Call you Mary Ashley by your formal government name?
Michael?
That it literally is my name. Mary. If we were to be sponsored by something, this podcast right now, what would you want to be sponsored by?
Ooh. I'd want to be sponsored by Disney World.
Oh, my God.
In every marriage, there's one person that likes Disney and one person that does not like Disney.
There's one rational person and there's one irrational person. There's one person that's like, let's go to Epcot and tour the world. And then there's the other person that's like, for literally the same price or less, we could go to most of those countries.
That is true.
It's absurd. Well, so the last time we went down just a couple weeks ago for the kids' fall break, we went to Universal.
Oh, it gets good. And then, we spend the whole day. We have...
Day two.
Day two. We have 3 children there. A 10-month-old. Well, he was a little bit younger then. An 8-month-old, 11, 7. We've done the whole thing. We've eaten the food. We're hot. We're sweaty. We're ready to go home. We had convinced the kids to leave a little bit early to go back to the pool.
We had done the pool. Yeah, we'll go to the pool. We'll go to the pool at the hotel.
There's slides at the pool. Let's go. And so
slides closed.
that was it. We didn't know that.
Yeah, we didn't know that. An honest mistake.
And so we get back to the car. It's like 5:00. So we were there
7 hours.
Oh yeah. I mean, that for a parent, we were exhausted. Standing, walking, carrying a baby, the whole 9 yards. And we get to our rental car. And I'm trying to unlock the trunk, and I'm hitting it, and it won't open, it won't unlock. And what happened, babe?
I mean, the car wouldn't turn on. So we rented from Avis, which we have a car.
I think they handled, up until a certain point, it was handled well.
Yeah. Totally up to a certain point.
And then it just went
It's
downhill.
like if you're at Walmart and you're checking out and your checkout process is very nice, but then you get arrested at the front door because they say you stole something. That's basically, my checkout process. My checkout process was right.
Steal anything.
So the car doesn't start, so I call Avis. Mm-hmm. And Avis is great on the phone.
Yeah.
They say, okay, where's your car? I say the ET lot, like extraterrestrial ET lot at Universal. Tell them the row number. I called them. They were great. Mm-hmm. Told them I could get into the car using the manual key, but the car wouldn't turn over. I couldn't get to start. And they told me, leave the keys under the car seat. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense. Leave the keys under the passenger seat.
Yeah, the floor mat. And you go, there's not floor mats.
It's like, where do you want these? I didn't want the car stolen.
Right.
And then they sent me a little link on through text, and I dropped a pin exactly where I was. Yep. Told them, hey, it's in the ET lot, this row, this space number. And then they sent an Uber credit. Right. And we're like, because they said, do you want to go get another car? We can Uber you to our place to get another car. And I said, no, we're leaving in the morning. I'll just Uber an Uber. Yeah. Uber home to the hotel, and then hotel to airport the next morning. And they said, cool, and sent an Uber credit.
I think you were like, that was so easy.
I thought it was great.
Done. They sent the Uber credit. The Uber came quickly. We get back to the hotel.
It's like, so we get back to the hotel. We go in the pool.
Yeah, slides were closed,
Lazy River, though.
Lazy River 1.
7:30.
Yeah.
That's when we get the first phone call from the tow truck company.
Yes.
And the tow truck company says...
The tow truck company was hired by Avis to come get the car.
And they say, hey, where are you? And I'm like, I'm at the hotel. What do you mean? And I had confirmed 9 million times, 20 different ways.
This is okay.
I do not need to stay here. I mean, that's why they sent me the Uber credit to leave.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, Universal, the tow truck guy's like, Universal won't let us in. We can't come get the car.
We don't have a ticket. We can't get in.
So call 1. I'm like, oh, wow, something must be wrong. Hang up with you, Mr. Tow Truck Company. Call back Avis. And this is where we start,
Yeah. During that time when you're calling Avis back, the tow truck company cancels, and I think you get a notification. I think you get a notification that the first tow truck canceled.
But I'm on the phone with Avis, and I'm saying, hey, this tow truck's calling me. They say they can't get into Universal. Universal Security will not let them in to get the car. What do you guys want me to do? And the first person's like, sir, you left the car? And I'm like, yes, of course I did. You sent me an Uber credit. And but you weren't supposed to leave the car. And I had them read back the notes, thankfully it said.
Yeah.
So that's 7:30, and I'm like, okay, cool, it's over. We had ordered food to the hotel.
Yes.
And then 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, at least till 12:30.
Yeah.
Every hour basically was a new tow truck company.
Coming to get the car.
Repeat.
Canceling because they couldn't get onto Universal.
For the first 3 times, I called Avis and was like, hey, the car's still there. I'm not there. And went through the same song and dance. And then eventually, I was very happy to turn my phone off and not look at it.
Well, because I was so nervous. I was freaked out. I was like, we are going to get charged for this car. They are going to put this entire car on our credit card.
The other day where I said that I checked to confirm?
Did you check to confirm?
Absolutely not.
Oh, my gosh.
I could check right now, and we could find out right now that there's a car on our credit card. It's possible.
And it's still sitting in the ET lot. We have to go back and get it and get the keys.
If you're in Orlando, would you mind going to the ET lot at Universal Studios? If you go down the ET lot and video, and we see if there's a silver...
What was the ET what? Do you remember the number? Oh, Charlie would remember.
Yeah.
Charlie repeated it for days afterwards.
Yeah. What is she saying now?
Was it the fourth?
Wait, no, what is Charlie saying now? Don't be suspicious.
Yeah.
Don't be. It's like she's a year late on a trend, but it's now all over our house.
Yeah, yeah.
We have a great view here in our house. What are you looking at right now? Out our front window. What are you looking at?
Well, past my car that I refuse to put in the garage.
Yes.
That's a sore subject.
Yes. Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Well, first of all, we have a 2-car garage and we have 2 cars in there. So there's not even space for my car.
That is such an excuse. For a very long time, the third car was at the office for always.
Second of all, my car is larger than any of the other cars, so it's hard to fit in.
Yeah, but it fits. It very much fits.
Yeah, but what are we willing to risk? Like, are we willing to risk scraping the sides of it? Because I'm not willing to risk.
Why don't you just not scrape the side?
My track record
You have
isn't
cameras, sensors. Getting into your car is like, I don't even know what. I mean, you're like the boy in the bubble, but the bubble is your car, and it's just like, you're protected, no?
Well, yes. No, I'm protected.
No, the car is. The car seems to have a force field around it. You get anywhere near anything. We drive down the bottom of the driveway, and the car stops itself.
Yes, true, it does, because the way that the hill is, it thinks that we're going to hit somebody.
I'm just saying, it doesn't do that when I'm driving.
Anyways, past my car is your favorite person's house.
Yeah.
We could wave to them right now.
Hello.
We chose not to go trick-or-treating there.
Yeah. So,
could have.
Why don't you tell everybody about who my favorite person is, so it's like a softer introduction to this?
Well, when you were coming up with ideas and you sent me a text message, you said, I could talk about my enemy.
Yeah, that's true. And wait, that text message you read, though, after we started. Don't try to go backwards. You sat in your chair and read it.
So
yeah, trial against my enemy.
Enemy, yeah. So that should say it right there, how you feel about this person.
Well, so he's a lawyer.
Yes.
He's a defense lawyer. He's on the other side of cases of mine. Mm-hmm. And the story of why I don't like him goes back years.
Oh, yeah. You have disliked him since before you knew me, because I remember you having cases or dealing with him when we first started dating. And I don't remember a lot of the other lawyers' names, but his I remember. So absolutely.
I feel, and Alex Brown in my office thinks the same way, and we're just wired this way. I feel like you need at least 3 mortal enemies at any given time to give motivation. No, you don't. We got a strong no.
What?
Is that not normal?
No, I don't have any enemies. Like, I don't have people that I'm like, oh, that person just...
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, you're serious?
Yes, I'm serious.
What motivates you to do things?
To be a good person.
Oh. Well, yeah. So, all right, no, that's, but I'm the good in this story. So,
I'm like the good angel on the shoulder, and you're like the mortal enemy.
No, I don't. No,
shoulder.
He's evil.
Oh.
So I'm the good. That's how I feel. And so when I say I have a mortal enemy, I'm trying to destroy them for valid reasons. With employees, especially lawyers, we try to figure out what motivates them. Mm-hmm. And what we've realized is it's money is obviously one motivator.
Yeah.
Praise, having to be right and wanting to win, which usually comes from family trauma. So we kid around that when we go and hire people, we're like, hey, do you like money? you like being praised. We're not the best at that, admittedly. Like 3 guys, 3 partners sitting around being like, no, you're the best. No,
You did so good
like,
today.
we recognize that's not our strongest suit. Because I think all our wives remind us that all the time that like, hey, where's the reassurance? Where's the praise? And, on my group text, there are some nights where one of us will be like, and I'll add in Austin, who's not in my firm, might as well be. But there's times on our group text where somebody's like, have you told your wife that you care about her and appreciate her today? It's like, it's 10:30. Do you know where your children are? And then
That's a good group text. I like that one.
We know that praise isn't our best motive. If you come in and say, praise is my number one thing, you may have to find that praise elsewhere because our expectations are very high and we expect you're going to do an amazing job. But if you're trying to like destroy certain people in the world and have mortal enemies, probably caused by family trauma, I mean, like that's, come on down. Come to the Rafi. I got to start saying the name. Rafi, Brown, and Stokes.
It's a mouthful.
Rafi Law. I don't know what to call. I mean, I don't know. Come to my law firm.
RBS.
Yeah, I always think that's RBF.
I know, I was going to say that sounds like something.
Resting bitch face. Does that make sense?
That's a bit intense.
Like, do you know in Alex's house, there are people that his wife, Megan, is so sick of hearing he's not allowed to say their names in the house.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Maybe we should make that rule.
Why?
I'm just kidding.
What will we talk about?
I know. I enjoy when you get worked up about him, especially because I can go and I can stand on the landing of our stairs and just peek at his house while you're telling me the story.
All right, so the story goes back. It's pre-COVID. It's like 18, 19 by my best guess.
Yeah.
Because we were the law firm was in an older office. I think it's like 18, 19, and I'm representing a rape victim. Mm-hmm. She was, her name was Tamberlin, and her and her daughter were asleep in a bed. A couple days earlier, she had burnt some fried chicken. She was frying chicken and burnt it in her apartment. I don't know if you know the backstory even.
I don't.
So she goes to open up the window, and she realizes when she closes it, because her smoke detectors go off, so she needs to open up her window. She's cooking like I am. And she goes to close the window, and the window's locked. So she calls a guy named Mike, a service guy, who she knows in the apartment, and Mike says, I'll fix it, don't worry, I got it. Now, what the apartment complex knew that none of the tenants knew was that there was a prowler trying to break into first floor windows, because they had been reported, that had been reported to them by other apartment complexes in the area and certain tenants.
Did they have all the windows locked? Is that why they were locked, or just
no, just like normal locks on your window, right? And Tamberlin realizes it's broken. Mm-hmm. So she says to security, Mike, or I say security, maintenance. She says to Mike in maintenance, hey, will you fix my window? Mm-hmm. He goes, yeah, I'll do it. A couple days later, she goes, hey, need my window fixed? He goes, yeah, I'll do it. She's asleep in bed with her, I forget now, I think her child was like 3 years old or something.
She was little. I remember that part of the story.
Okay. And she wakes up and there's a guy holding a knife to her and rapes her while her child is sleeping on the bed, wakes up.
Yeah.
And we file a lawsuit against the apartment complex saying, hey, you had however long to repair this window. You knew there was a problem. You didn't. Somebody breaks in. You knew that was going to happen. What gets me, and we won the case, what gets me is that when it was Tamberlin's time to be deposed, and for anybody out here who doesn't know, that's when it's, a lawyer comes in and asks you a whole bunch of questions. It can take hours and hours. That lawyer over there, he came.
Your mortal enemy.
Yeah, my mortal enemy.
Yeah, I know. You're pointing to his house, but nobody else could see his house. We won't share that on here.
No, he's right there. We will share. He's right there. I'm going to tell. This all ties into what happened a week or two ago.
True.
So he shows up, and he's got him, his paralegal, and another person or two. And I'm like, who's here? And he's like, this is my paralegal. And I'm like, not the strangest thing to do at a deposition, but not normal. Like we're not bringing paralegals around. That they can't ask questions. If you're prepared, you don't need a paralegal. Like it's a weird
also
thing.
When you're deposing her, you're going to ask her questions about that incident, and that's really, really a sensitive topic. And you have to be you'd have to be respectful. And I just can't. Yeah. As a woman, I can't imagine having to tell a person that a man. I just can't imagine having to go through that story with it, not just my lawyer, but then other people there.
Well, and leading up to that, I'm not telling her about the law. I'm not telling her about, these nuances of how depositions work. I'm saying to her, I really hope you'll get through this. Like, we'll get through it together. It's going to be okay. Like, I'm just trying to get her in a place where she can even talk about it. Yeah. And so he says, this is my paralegal, and these two are summer associates. And that's the fancy lawyer way of just saying interns from law school. And I'm like, okay, well, they're not going to sit in here, right? Lobby's out there. And he goes, oh, no, they're going to sit in and listen. And I'm like, why? And he explains to me that this is a learning opportunity for them. So there you have my rape victim client being a learning opportunity for two randos in law school. Mm-hmm. And I say, no, we're not going to do the deposition. Tell her, hey, let's get out of here, and we don't go forward. He gets all mad. He goes to the judge. The judge decided that he could bring anyone that he deemed essential. Okay, who's essential? The lawyer.
Right.
Another lawyer, an associate. He's a partner at this law firm. Mm-hmm. Look, if you want your paralegal to be essential.
Maybe.
Sure. Right. I'm not going to give you trouble about that. But then he brings more summer associates the second time. And I remember saying to him, if you think these people are essential to you, you got a problem. And I looked at all of them. There was a bunch of them. And I looked at all of them as they were in my room. And I said, y'all realize, talking to them, not to him, y'all realize this is a rape victim's deposition. And y'all got brought here to make someone feel uncomfortable under the guise that this is a learning opportunity. Y'all need to realize they're interviewing for the job, right?
Yeah.
I said, and they probably can get jobs elsewhere at this point. And I'm like, y'all should realize that this is the place you're going to work. So we did the deposition, which I thought was disgusting. Mm-hmm. Disgusting. That's where my mortal enemy status began, or his did.
Which is absolutely fair. I mean, that's just a really heartbreaking.
Here's how terrible of a human he is, though. I had a trial against him 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
So him and I suggested we carpooled. He didn't take me up on that.
That.
Yeah. He didn't know I lived across the street from him. So
how did you drop that bomb?
Yeah, so I think he was preparing for something. It was day one, so it may have been like his opening statement.
Mm-hmm. And when we say carpool or drive, you were driving over an hour, right?
Yeah, about an hour. Yeah.
To the
you always
courthouse.
think things are way farther than they are.
Well, I drive slower than you do. I'm a safer driver.
That's absolutely not true. So, yeah, but I think he was preparing for his opening. I remember he was in like deep thought. Mm-hmm. And then I said, name, mortal enemy. Tomorrow we can just drive together. And he looked at me weird and I said, yeah. You live across the street from me. And he goes, what? And I said, yeah, if I look out my front door, I see your house and I could throw a baseball through your window.
And he actually said our street name.
Yeah, and he said, oh, you live on, and I said, yeah. And I mean, it's obvious what house we live in compared to his. So I thought that kind of messed with him, but so one of my friends came and watched most of the trial. And that's, people come and go. One of my friends stayed for almost all the trial. And at one point, I think we were in the last day, we're about to give closing arguments. And my friend, AJ, says to me, you really don't like that guy. And in front of the jury, I don't think they would ever know. But like when jury leaves the room, he's still my mortal enemy. Right. So, we're not having friendly conversations. He doesn't like me either. Well,
and you're not one that can put on a facade and pretend to be kind to someone. And
I know I wasn't unkind.
Okay.
I wasn't unkind. I wasn't helpful.
You weren't warm and fuzzy.
Absolutely not. So AJ says to me, it seems like you don't like this guy. And I was like, no, I don't. You want to hear why? Now, mortal enemy is like 15 feet away, can hear.
So he's hearing this conversation.
So I explained what I just explained here about the summer associates and the rape victim. And mortal enemy looks at me and AJ and goes, it wasn't 3 summer associates. It was only 2. And I'm like, you still think this is okay? But that just summarizes or exemplifies how terrible of a human he is. And I was looking back through old emails. I showed you this. Yeah. I was looking back through old emails because in the trial.
Well, you have some gems with him.
Well, yeah, but I did it for
really good emails with him.
Well, for 2 reasons. I'll give the real reason and the not so real reason. But I was looking back in old emails because I was trying to get the offer history of the case. Mm-hmm. Because the highest offer that we ever got was, I think it was $35,000.
Which was below the amount of medical bills.
Yeah, my client had $69,000 or $71,000 in medical bills, something like that.
For a wreck that he did not cause.
It was rear-ended.
Yeah.
And douche McDouche over here was blamed
Mortal enemy.
blamed my client for getting rear-ended. So the verdict was so high.
Seems like a mortal enemy thing to do.
Douche McDouche. That's what I'll call him. The verdict was so high because he defended the case in such a bad way. If he would have went in there and said, yeah, look, my client rear-ended somebody, we're really sorry, give him his medical bills, and, we just don't think that he deserves this much money in pain and suffering. That's the way to defend the case. But he doesn't do that. He's douche McDouche. And so the verdict is so high that the judge is going to have to add attorney's fees and expenses and interest. So, the verdict's going to balloon, almost double. So I'm looking back through the emails to the offer history, and I noticed that I had sent him an email once that said, hey, thanks for registering for my webinar. And then he said, I didn't register for your webinar. And then I sent him a screenshot of the webinar where I was like, that's weird. Here's your name and email address that you got. So maybe he's watching this. If so, come on, be our first guest. We'll tell good stories about you. Then I got to an email chain where it's me saying to him, hey, I think we should settle this case. Mm-hmm. The way that you're defending it, blaming my client, is going to make a jury really, really mad, and I'm going to get a huge verdict. And I haven't written to him yet. I haven't found a reason to. Maybe I'll drum one up. But I want to write back on that email thread. Mm-hmm. So that way the one I'm responding to is me telling him what literally just happened 2 weeks ago.
Right.
I would never say I told you so. I would just respond on the same email thread. Totally different.
Well, speaking on that trial, you had invited the girls to come to the trial. We were having dinner one night, and you're excited about it. Was it closing?
Yeah, arguments? It was the closing arguments were
the next day.
The next day.
Yeah, and so you were like, "Hey, Charlie, that's 11-year-old,
and she's been to a trial before.
She's been to a trial. Wouldn't you like to come? Like, you can skip school." And Olivia's like, "Yeah, I want to come. I've never been."
Wells has even been.
Wells has been before, yeah. And so we were like, you can skip. We'll go watch the closing arguments, and then I'll bring you back to school the next day. And the girls are excited. You're excited because you like sharing your stuff.
It's cool. Charlie likes seeing it, and Olivia had never seen it. I thought that would be cool for them.
Yeah, and it's a good learning it's a good learning opportunity. But they did not end up going because Charlie, our type A student, she all of a sudden goes, wait a minute, I have a project the next morning.
Yeah, didn't want to miss the group project.
She didn't want to miss the group project, and so she didn't come.
I was like, child, you are my group. This is my project.
Yep, and then Olivia goes, well, if Charlie's not going, I need to go to school too.
Yep. Yep, did that hour drive alone. Nobody joined me, that one.
Yeah. Sorry that we missed it.
We collectively, all of us that are kind of involved in this production here, we're very excited about having a trial one because we get to help the client, get them money, get to kind of take the case off our books, sort of, because it still goes on after the trial, for better or worse. But we get to have the trial been waiting years for, and we were going to video it, and we were very excited. A week before, we had submitted a motion to the court asking to be able to video it. You have to follow these rules.
And did they
rule
on that?
No, that's the telltale sign.
Oh.
Monday morning before the trial, they're waiting to tell you no. So kind of had an inkling that was going to happen.
Okay.
But they wouldn't even let him in, which is a violation of his First Amendment because he can film anywhere in the public area of the courthouse. He just can't go in the courtrooms or in private offices.
Okay.
Monday before a trial, I'm not going to
argue and stand out there. You have to go and prepare.
I was like, all right, go back to the car. I'll call you later. I'll text you. I said that to the deputy in the courtroom. I said, hey, we need to talk to the judge about this, whether we can videotape. And he goes, oh, okay. And he goes, where's your video guy? And they won't let him in. He goes, that's definitely not allowed. I was like, I know. And then they were telling about that they have First Amendment auditors go in there and those are the people that come in with cameras and kind of cause a scene to make sure that they can do it.
Allowed.
Yeah, we were denied. We were denied, and then the judge said we couldn't record.
I have been surprised by the amount of times that you have been told no for recording, and
almost all the time.
All the time, and I wonder if it's because this is such a new part of the law field. Just now people are doing podcasts. Just now people are starting to do videos. You were kind of on the forefront of that. I don't know. Court
TV's been around for years. People watch the O.J. Simpson trial. You know what I mean? It's the idea of and court systems will put a link to YouTube where the public, if they wanted to, could find it and watch it. And I think we have better reasons for filming. And our reasons are, it's first, as a threshold matter, it's threshold. That's a Charlie vocabulary word. Spelling word, whatever.
SSAT word.
Yeah. But the threshold is that the courtrooms are open to the public. And all we're doing is broadcasting them to a wider area of someone maybe who couldn't come down to the courtroom. But we're educating the public about what court is and the law and lawyers and judges. We're educating and training other lawyers. And we're able to have, kind of like film to review ourselves, which helps us represent our clients. And usually the defense lawyers...
Mortal enemy number one.
Yeah, but him and everybody else, all their response is always like, no, we don't want to, you don't have to judge. So the safest thing is just for you to say no. And everyone overlooks all the benefits. And I think it's really ridiculous. I get really frustrated because people want to see videos and we want to make videos. And the judge even said to me, he said, I think this rule to be able to film was only for the media. And I said, well, who do you think I am? I have, subscribers.
Yeah.
I broadcast news. Like
You're an influencer? Is that the thing that's going to embarrass you this time? Mike the influencer.
No, before I'll throw you a bonus second because I do have something. I'll toss you a softball and you can hit it out of the park. But no, I on the news topic though, like, we are a source of news, better or worse for people. Like when something happens, there have been times when I ran to a camera and said, I need to make a story about this. I mean, take last week, the Georgia mom who's, kid 10 or 11 years old, and she's arrested because the kid walks into town. I would imagine that I was the first person that a lot of people heard that story from. I know I was. Yeah. Like, what do I need? Do I need to make a badge that says Rafi News Network? Like, how stupid is that? Especially with citizen journalism now.
Well, you are an influencer.
Makes me feel uncomfortable.
I'm sorry, you don't like the word.
Feel my no vibes? No. As we've gotten more followers, there's also fake accounts that pop up time to time.
Oh, yes.
And how have you handled my fake accounts?
So, what started is I believe somebody commented on one of your videos and was like, hey, this account is fake, and they're actually commenting and talking to people. Yeah. And so then you and I went down a rabbit hole.
Had never searched ourselves.
It never crossed our minds that somebody would try and pretend to be you. Sorry. It didn't.
It's crossed my mind once or twice.
Okay, never crossed mine.
Like,
never.
If I had to change lives or something or keep my own, like, I'm a top 10 pick for myself.
I'm glad that you're happy with your family and your life. And
I mean, Matt Damon, Ryan Reynolds. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio, because he's gotten older and weirder, it's dropped.
I could go for that one. I'm kidding.
Are you? Blake Lively? Okay. Go ahead. Tell your story.
So anyway, we went down a rabbit hole and we started searching for people that were trying to imitate your account. And some of them are really good. They use actual videos. Some of them had thousands of followers. It was interesting. So I added a couple of them, followed them back on TikTok. And then I sent one a message. And I can't remember what I said. I think I said, hey, are you done at work? And it took them a little bit, but they started responding.
Didn't you ask him as me to bring home something from, like, the grocery store?
Yes. He was like just finishing up. And I said, perfect. I need you to do something. And he was like, what? And I was like, I need you to pick up dinner on the way home.
Send me all of your Bitcoin. We're going to scam you.
Right. I was like, I need you. Like, it was a full list of things, like, pick up dinner from this place, stop and grab dry cleaning. If you don't pick up the dogs, you're in trouble. Like, something. So like a
normal Tuesday.
It was a big list. He stopped responding to me after that.
Smart man.
Right?
Smart
he was
man.
like, no.
You got broken up with by fake me.
Yeah. Well, he just left you to dry, because if I really did mean those things and that didn't happen, you would have walked in the door and I would have been like, what?
Yeah, I looked last night when I was thinking about this topic, and there aren't that many, but there are still some out there. So maybe you'll have to message them and get them to do things for you. Yeah, I get. Yeah, if somebody that says they are me asks you to do something, call my office. Like, we're easily findable. That's the point of this. Like, call us and ask us.
Well, I think the problem was, I think the guy was giving bad legal advice. Like, I think he was trying to be a lawyer and he was telling people, oh, you should do this or this. And I think
that's 99% of my comments. like why am I like the people that, and I try, not so much lately, but I feel like if I make a video and people ask legitimate questions, I feel like I have some sort of responsibility to respond.
Because you started the videos and I don't think people know this about you, and I don't know if you remember this, but like years ago, we talked about you teaching like a law class. Like you like teaching people. You like
I told the jury 2 weeks ago that in my closing argument, I said, I'm going to explain to you. My first part was kind of to explain the law. I said, I'm going to explain to you the law. It's going to be like a little law school class. Fun fact, my dream job, my retirement job, hopefully is teaching at a law school. I actually said that. Yeah.
So I think these videos really originated from you wanting to teach people and share your knowledge. And I know that there's lawyers all the time that call you and just ask you a question and you...
I got one yesterday from Alabama.
Yeah, and you just talk to them and you explain to them.
So when people write things and have a legitimate question, I kind of feel like I should write back. And I try to engage in legit, here's what I think of your situation, or here's what I think of whatever you've brought up, without giving legal advice. Can't do that. Can't go too far.
Yeah.
And my favorite comments, though, are somebody writes something and then I say, actually, no, that's incorrect. Here's the answer. And the response is like, what the fuck do you know, man? And I'm like, I made the video.
Yes.
Or people that fight about me with the facts. Like I made a video about a motorcycle guy, a client who was on a motorcycle and got hurt. And I showed the video of him on the motorcycle driving like an idiot and then not driving like an idiot and then gets hit by somebody who did something wrong. And people are arguing with me. He was speeding and I wrote back, I think I pinned maybe at the top. I said, hey, for all of you who are looking for more details, the video wasn't about specifically his crash, right? About the facts of it. So I didn't sit there and give a 40-second explanation of every detail. Right. In my 60 seconds, that's not how I spent my time. But I pinned like, hey, he was going under the speed limit, this and that. And somebody writes back, like, you don't know he was going under the speed limit. I'm like, literally, I do know he was going under the speed limit. I worked on the case for 2 years.
This is a fact.
I promise you. Like, you didn't include that in the videos. I understand I didn't include that in the video, but that was not the point of my video. I'm trying here, man. I'm trying here. And I always I try to say, I'll give you the last word and you can write whatever you write. But it is to the point now where, this morning, video, frankly, is not one of our best performing videos.
Yeah.
Right today, this morning.
How many views does it have?
Right now, it has 40,000 views.
And that's not one of the best.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. Usually we're somewhere by the end of the day in like 500,000 on YouTube alone.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And across platforms, you're talking, I already have 300 comments. So it gets to a point, unfortunately, where I can't respond to everything. So, if I'm smoking a cigar and it's not cold out and I can type.
When you can use your hands. That was a problem last night. I was sending him text messages and he wouldn't text me back. And
I was trying to voice text, but
I was like, why aren't you texting me? And then he came upstairs and he was like, my hands are cold. I was smoking a cigar.
I made a video about where I voice text on the video and people still give me crap about that. But I just go to like the top comments and try to respond maybe to the top 5 or so every day.
Yeah.
Or, I'm going to the bathroom.
Yeah, some of them are funny though. And it's
I write
hard
that.
Not to.
I write that sometimes. People are like, "Wow, you have a lot of time to respond to comments." I said, "Well, I have stomach issues today, so spending a lot of time on my rear." That's what yeah.
What did somebody say? There was a comment recently that we laughed at so hard. It was like a few days ago. I can't remember it.
Or someone called me neurodivergent?
No, but that one's funny too. People, man.
I didn't know what that meant.
I know. And your comment was so sweet. I think you even said,
I don't know what that means. Yeah.
I just think
because I came and showed it to you. I was like, what does this mean? I know. And you're like, what are you writing? I said, I wrote, I don't know what this means.
Yeah. And then I was like, delete that.
Does that? Well, anyway, I don't, whatever.
Yeah. Some of the comments are super nice. Very sweet. I love it when people come to bat for you. Like if somebody says something mean and then you have like 8 people jump on them. That's really cool. People that don't even know you.
A lot of the videos if you wait a couple days, they will build on each other. Just the way that we film them. That's naturally how we film them. And people will jump in and be like, actually, you said a couple days ago this. And I'm like, damn, that's awesome. Like somebody is actually learning something. I did it.
They know more about it than I do. I'm like, really? Let me go back and watch that video. I didn't like that one.
All right. How did we do?